Good morning and welcome to today's live show. We're going to be breaking down stocks first thing in the morning and in the last 15 minutes. So if you're not watching this live, make sure to tune into the last 15 minutes of the stream because we're going to go right into a breakdown and do some technical analysis for the next few hours, right? The hours of this morning, we're going to be going through the SPY Qs, Apple, Tesla, Amazon, Nvidia, AMD, and Meta going forward today, looking at Microsoft and Google as well. Microsoft showing something interesting. So what are we paying attention to today? Well, we have some new daily expected moves. So the fact that we did not get this pullback, perfectly fine, right? We weren't trying to short anything in this move. We know this is a short squeeze, and a short squeeze is not something that you want to fight against. It is going to keep squeezing. The more you fight against it, the more it squeezes. And we saw that PCC ratio that someone was bringing up, and some people saying, hey, overnight we're going to see some kind of collapse. Well, guess what? The stock still goes higher. Now those people might have to cover, and we might have to see some bigger price action here. Now, once we get up into this area for the SPY, that's where you can start to be like, okay, we did this early on in the week. We have a 68% chance for a drop, and we're going up to test the highs up here. So this would be an area I would really like to pay attention to today. I think if we did this on a Tuesday, that would make a lot of sense to actually see some kind of pullback at that point. You don't necessarily want to say trend reversal. We're not necessarily seeing trend reversal signals, not seeing any negative trends begin or anything like that. We're just seeing an upward move. So this might want to digest and then head higher in the future. So we'll pay attention to this going forward, but this is a rapid upward move that can be ripped away. But as it is some kind of short squeeze, if it wants to, all it has to do is keep curling up into positive territory. So we're just going to pay attention to the signals, not seeing any reversal signals in this overall move just yet. The Q is struggling just a little bit. I believe it was Palantir had some difficult earnings, at least the last time I checked. Yeah, so Palantir down now 12%. That's why we don't necessarily trade around earnings. And this is what we said yesterday about Palantir, because I know some people might trickle in and ask about Palantir. Remember we said, hey, if you're to the call side early on in this, if you were taking calls down towards this 2029 that we were marking off, which we almost touched to the T, good level to pay attention to, well, then you've made money throughout this whole thing, and the last couple days have given you an easy out, and you don't even have to play with anything in this area, right? We can just see that move up. Okay, I'm going to take some profit here, and then maybe I just play with house money, and now you'll see that drop come in. So something to do that is very, very good is if you see this kind of big move and you're to the call side before Palantir earnings, that is usually a good sign as a trader to be like, okay, I made money. Let me just get out of this and see what happens with the earnings. Look at another stock, wait for this to do something like this and curl back up into positive territory. Because as of right now, you're seeing Palantir drop down with those earnings. Okay, so how is that affecting the overall stock market? Well, a lot of these tech stocks are struggling just a little bit here, and a few are holding them up. So the Qs here, we're still paying attention to our daily expected moves, 443.11 to the upside and 437.39 to the downside. Remember, this zone up here is what we are going to pay attention to. Why? It lines up with these highs. And we saw a lot of wonky price action, a lot of resistance in this area. So this is going to be a point where, hey, what if we do want to complete the full cup and get a handle and head higher? That's how we'd probably head higher in this move. But if we're going to reverse from here, we got to start seeing some stuff go negative. I don't really see us reversing from here. I see us continuing to go up after some kind of pullback in order to go up before CPI, and then we'll have to see what happens with PPI, CPI. We get a bunch of data next week. So this week, no real data coming out that's going to really affect the market. Maybe geopolitical news affects the market in some way. We'll have to see. But as of right now, not affecting the market, and we could just see what's happening right now continue a positive trend. All right, Apple. Remember, this is one that we overall talked about yesterday in the video, and this is what we were saying. We were like, yeah, try to become a good trader. Try to really become a good trader who doesn't have to ask for another opinion, but it's fine to double check. It's fine. I do that too. It's perfectly fine to look around and be like, what is someone else saying about this? Am I seeing it right? And I think that's perfectly fine. But to ask someone to buy or sell something is not necessarily what you want to do. You want to be ownership. You want ownership of your trading. You want the accountability of and responsibility of your trading. And right now, what does it look like? Well, Apple's about to confirm this move, which means, hey, we can go up and test this high, maybe even go make a new one. And what would that do? It would get you into a sell zone. Okay, so you know exactly where this is supposed to go because you're a part of Patreon, which is down in the description. You know how high Apple is supposed to go this week and how low Apple is supposed to go this week. So you know exactly where to take profit as far as this week goes. If we continue squeezing, that's okay. That's being a good trader. All right, Tesla, this one's starting to struggle just a little bit. Remember, this is what I was saying live. I really would like a retest of 180.92 and then start to head higher. okay, start to head higher. So on the 2-hour here, seeing that retest 182, that might be a good sign to go into an hourly, see this kind of curl back up into positive territory after a pullback. Right, we're positive trend technically, right? We're above the center line, but we're really close to the negative, so you don't want to roll over here. What you want to see is 182 hold you up, come back up to this area, and then you would say, okay, now I'm confident in this hourly to make that upward move. That's what I would say for Tesla. Maybe we come up and test this high this week. Who knows, right? We're still having some bullishness left in the market as of right now, SPY going higher. Amazon, this one's really going to struggle here because this is where you would need to make some kind of handle, okay, to go higher. So if we see this just blow past this area, then I would be very, very worried about some kind of rug pull coming. If we just keep going, I would really be worried about some kind of rug pull coming very soon after this move. So what I'd like to see from Amazon, you know, we're paying attention to a 30-minute, that thing curling down. Looks like it could curl up. I think that this thing may just curl down again. May curl down a little bit here to get near that center line to curl back up. That at least would give you some kind of handle in this area, right? You would see a full cup and then get a full handle here, just a little one. That's all you need, right? That's all you need in this kind of environment because the sellers have not shown up just yet. Nvidia, this thing's starting to pull back a little bit, okay? So this is what we were saying. Being a good trader is not entering here, not entering here, not even entering here, not entering here. It's being patient. Being patient will really help you out because this could just scoop down to this level and then you could be a part of the next big move. Okay? Same area, better buy. Same area, better buy. Right? Because the indicators are telling you that there's momentum left. Right now, the indicators are saying eventually this thing's going to get tired and pull back. And this is where the opportunity is, not right now. Now, if you caught this move early, right? Some people caught this move early. I played Nvidia for a little moment there, but I sold out pretty quickly. I'm not trying to make $1 million or anything like that. The slow way is the fast way. I'm trading like water, so I'm ready for any kind of pullback that could lead to another push higher. As of right now, that looks very likely for Nvidia. AMD kind of saying the same thing, right? Kind of in the middle of this, which is very interesting. You would like to see that pull down and then curl back up. That's all we have to do is be patient. If we're patient, we can be in the next move. If we're FOMO'd in, well, then we might be ruined by the next move, right? We might be ruined by this downward move. So we're just waiting for good setups. And that is a very good thing to do as a trader. You don't have to take a trade every single day. Now, remember, AMD does have that daily momentum, all right? So we have to make sure to pay attention to that. What do we say for Meta? Well, Meta just broke through an important level, 453.08. I would like a full retest of that level. I think a retest of that level to go higher would be very, very good here. What do we see? Well, that would be a pulling down to the center line and then curling back up, and I think this could be a big move incoming. So we'll pay attention to these types of things as the SPY and the Q start to hit areas. If they start to go up even more and hit areas that have some sellers lurking up there, those all-time highs and stuff, we have to pay attention because that's all the options market has priced in for the week. And guess what? If we get up there, that's all the options market has priced in for the entire month. All right, so we have to pay attention to that. Microsoft, this is one that I wanted to point out because it should be getting some resistance at this level. It really should. We've seen sell-offs from this level, sell-off from this level. What if this backs off again? Okay, this gets close to the center line, curls back up. We have another move coming. All right, so we can be a part of the second move if we are patient. Now, being patient is a very good thing to have as a trader. And these are things that, you know, a lot of people should be taking notes on, right? That's the overall theme for right now is we really want you guys to be able to learn about these stuff so you can have a second opinion, but already have the skills in order to take a trade. People aren't going to be live all the time. People aren't going to post YouTube videos all the time. I had a tornado watch yesterday. So I could just not have internet today. And what would you do? Oh, well, I'm just not going to take a trade because I don't have anyone to ask if I should buy or sell. No, you want to have the skills. And this is the cup. Here's where you'd create some kind of handle. If this hourly can turn back up into positive territory, I think that would be a good sign for the next move. So you can pay attention to a 30-minute, just watch this curl down, curl back up. I think a handle here would make a lot of sense for Google going forward. We can keep looking at a few. Netflix, this one's seeing a very strong move. This needs to digest. There's no real digestion in any of this move, just a brief moment here. You need that to really digest. Maybe come test this level right here of 578 before making that next move higher. That would be a very good look for Netflix going forward. This is pretty bullish behavior here. but we need to retest this level. This level was very important, very important, very important, because this is the only place where we got some sort of consolidation. So reaching down to that area for a retest would be very, very good. If we start to lose that, that's when we would start to talk about some kind of negative trend forming here. Maybe we have to talk about even head and shoulders, right? I see that right away. So because I have done my research, because I've learned a lot, I'm able to find multiple scenarios right away when looking at a stock. All right, very, very good thing. Now going forward, volatility is something that we were talking about possibly scaling up. That 30-minute is able to cross at this moment, but we're seeing that curve back down. We need this to get into positive territory. Remember how important this center line is. We talked about it in the course a bunch. The course link's down in the description, but we talk about this all the time. It needs to go positive to start a positive trend, and then we can look at that 2-hour. So if this 30-minute never goes positive, then we don't even need to look at the 2-hour. We really don't. We don't need to look at the 2-hour because we know, hey, this is just going to keep squeezing. But as we get closer to 13, as we get closer to 12.12, you have to be like, okay, this move hasn't seen a pullback and we're approaching areas where volatility likes to step back in. If this just goes positive trend for volatility. And the fact that it keeps getting beat down is really starting to make me a little bit iffy about this move up at this point. And the reason that I'm iffy is just the dollar's still positive as of right now. Now, that is backing off right now, but it's not dramatically dropping, right? We're not seeing the dollar really say like, hey, this move is extremely, extremely okay. It's extremely validated, right? It's valid. And this right here is not necessarily saying that. If anything, it's saying, hey, I beat down and I'm trying to hold up. There's insider selling within this move. Every single pop higher we see, what do we see? The dollar makes a move higher. Okay, we see a big pop in the stock market. Okay, dollar goes a little bit higher. So there is selling within this move right now, and we have to see, is that going to lead into something with the dollar breaking down and seeing some kind of big pop in the market, and the dollar's wrong here, or is the dollar going to start to build back up over time? We'll have to see. Now, 30 minutes for the dollar, not the best thing to pay attention to. I would say the 2-hour is a little bit better. That's just my back testing. That's what I like to pay attention to, is a 2-hour. So just pay attention to this, because what could we be seeing here? Well, the 2-hour is kind of like a 30-minute on a regular stock. So what could we see? Well, what if we want to go down towards this zone right here, see the SPY test those all-time high levels, and then we see the dollar start to make an upward move? That's what I would pay attention to going forward for the dollar. But just know there is some selling in this overall move. Now, something I'm noticing as we open up as well, these yields are dropping off dramatically. TLT catching a good bid here, going up to an area where we could see some resistance come in. Right, this would be actually probably the perfect area to be like, okay, this is where I want my cup. Now I get a handle and then I start to head higher, which means those yields can dramatically drop off. And a lot of people don't know that. Usually when the yields drop off dramatically, they uninvert. That actually would be a sign that we're going to go into some kind of recession. Usually it's what within 6 to 18 months we go into recession after that happens. So I'd be paying close attention to this TLT catching a bid right now. One thing to pay attention to as well, Gold making a slight downward move now while the market actually heads higher. So that's something to pay attention to. Maybe gold is the one getting this wrong at this point, or maybe gold's behaving correctly in order to see some kind of pullback and then grab some buyers to head higher in this liquidity zone, right? So gold could be reacting down right now, but what if that's just to gain some buyers and that actually pops back up and then the SPY starts to drop off? That's what I'd be paying attention to right now. Something about oil. Right, we want to do it on a 2-hour as well. And this thing looks like, hey, it had divergence here. It got a little pop. Now it's going to make another divergence here. And what if it gets a more significant pop? Because that is a very significant divergence if we're able to curl back up at any time on this MACD for oil. And then I believe oil might actually catch a bid here. And we might want to draw some stuff up for oil, you know, take the high up here, go like this down. Okay, now we can have a point to pay attention to. If we break through that level, then you would say, okay, this is not going to look good. This is going to look like oil is going to skyrocket again. Right now, we are in some kind of channel. Okay, so if we remain in this channel, okay, we can just see little pops in the oil and then see that drop off. But if we start to break out, that's going to be a very bullish sign for oil. And you have to ask how that is going to affect the overall stock market. So oil actually breaking down. Remember, oil was breaking down and the stock market was kind of working in tandem with oil, right? Very correlated. Right now, you have the stock market like this, oil like this. So that is a big, big difference, and we have to pay attention to that going forward. Oil looking like it might make another move down here. So another thing you can pay attention to with oil is a 4-hour. Look at that. If you create some kind of divergence here, that would be solid. One thing to look at today is Bitcoin. I don't know why, but Bitcoin crash or crypto crash is trending on Twitter. And I'm not seeing it right now. If anything, I'm seeing, hey, we might try to go into positive territory with some consolidation here. So how would we head higher? Well, the 2-hour has to curl up into positive territory, and you know the next big move for Bitcoin's coming. If the 2-hour can fully roll up from here, well, then we can go test the top of our channel. And the top of our channel would probably be somewhere around 70,000. Okay, so it looks like we could make a move towards 70,000 if we get that to curl back up into positive territory. And notice I'm not pointing out, hey, yeah, buy Bitcoin. Hey, yeah, sell Bitcoin. No, I'm telling you about how to know when the signals are going to tell you a little hint of the most probable next move. That's overall what we're trying to get at here. The most probable next move will be up from here if we can curl up on this MACD. The momentum's giving you a hint. All right, when the momentum gives us a hint, we believe in that momentum. We try to go up from here. That's perfectly fine. And then we know if that rolls back down, well, I'll be negative territory. So I know that now the direction is actually to the downside. And maybe I want to go look at the stock market, see what things are starting to roll over. All right, for today, let's go back over to the SPY, and the 2-hour is starting to get a little overbought at this point. Just remember, we can remain overbought for some time in a short squeeze. You see it on the 30 minutes. See how we're just remaining overbought for a few days, right? All of Monday, we're overbought. We were overbought on Friday. So this can continue to be overbought. It's just I would be weary if we start to approach right up in this area, the little area between our daily expected move, our weekly expected move, and our monthly expected move. I think this area is very, very important for today or tomorrow. Alrighty, now my chat is being a little wonky, so we are going to have to pull up the stream for a moment here. Let me fix some stuff, and then I'll get to chatting with you guys, all right? Make sure to smash like as you come in. Notice we got 22 likes. Very, very good. Let's get some more going today. Let's get some more people in here so we can learn some more throughout the day. Encourage others to learn as well. And boom, we got that going. Let me click into this. Let me just get the stream up so I can see you guys and say good morning to you guys as we open up. Just keep your eye on the SPY for me. Change it around so we don't get ads or anything like that, but might hear my voice twice for a second. Hope I was quick with it. 30 likes coming in today. Let's get it to 100. You know the goal is always 100. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Is it mainly institutions doing the short squeeze? Well, not necessarily institutions, but you would say, well, this is what I would say about this short squeeze, and I think that this would be very, very good to pay attention to, is remember when this happened, we came out of a lot of weekly expected moves, right? We came well outside of those weekly expected moves. So what does that mean? That means that those market makers most likely did not expect that move, and they weren't positioned correctly for a move like that. So what's happening in this short squeeze? Well, they're taking back all of that money that people made with this big drop, and they know people are going to bet on another big drop because we just had one in this area. So what do? They send stocks higher to fight against those. So I think retailers are really trying to short this. This is why I'm not encouraging you to short it necessarily. I'm encouraging you, hey, yeah, this is an area where you want to take some profit on some longs. But at this moment, you just want to treat this as a hedge and slowly be scaling out. That's what I've been doing. So as far as this goes, I'm not necessarily taking any more upside here. I'm waiting for the signals to show me reversal at this point. That's what I'm doing. I'm taking all of my exposure long out, and I'm slowly building that hedge position, which by this point could be a full-fledged position to the downside. You start at the same time. Usually it's between like 8:10 to 8:20. So, it depends on how my baby girl's doing. She's been very, very good this morning, so helps a lot when baby girl's in a good mood. Helps a lot with the house. We can look at IWM. Remember, IWM was added to the Patreon. Now this here, not really showing any reversal signals. This is just a squeeze. Now, IWM is having some good selling in it, right? Big pop-up, good selling. Big pop-up, good selling. Big pop-up, no selling here, moving sideways. So the fact that it's able to hold up at higher levels means, hey, we can get another breakout. But what could happen from here? We could get some kind of divergence. We can start to draw some stuff up, right? Maybe we want to draw at something like this or something like that. We'll have to see what the actual price action says for us, but I'm not seeing too many reversal signals. All I'm seeing is overbought. All I'm seeing is overbought. So that's something to pay attention to. If we start to make flags and things like that, it's going to look like, oh, we're going down right now. If we start to make these triangles and things, and I don't want you to be convinced of that. You're not necessarily seeing reversal and trend signals at these highs. If anything, you're just seeing, hey, I want to have a little bit of a prolonged pullback for a couple of days, and then I can head higher in the future. That's what I would say about IWM. But I'd be paying close attention to my weekly expected moves, okay? Because this was where you started out, so you're probably approaching those weekly expected moves right now for IWM. Actually, I think I have those up for IWM over here. So yeah, so IWM has a little bit more room, maybe one more point to the upside. We'll have to see. So it looks like somewhere up in this area is going to be where that resistance steps in for the weekly expected move. Remember, that's all the options market is priced in. Now, this is the other thing. Because the options market, yeah, they said, oh, this is going down. Maybe they want to make a move that's going to get outside of the weekly to make some of that money back and then see that ripped away. We'll have to pay attention. This is going to be a big day for the stock market. I'm going to tell you that. This is a big day. If we can see reversal from here, that would lead you to, hey, maybe a pullback into the end of the week, and then we start to head higher later on. But in May, it really still looks like we're going to make some kind of major top. If that starts to change, and it is changing at all times, so we're always updating you. But the daily, it's just going to keep going. And what you have to pay attention to with the daily, once we start to head higher, is, well, if that makes some kind of boom of a move, is that able to base out? Is that able to curl down and find some buyers and those guys recommit? Because as of right now, you would just set up another point of divergence. So if that starts to roll negative at any point, I'm going to be like, hey, yeah, I'd be very worried that we're going to do what? We're going to test this low or go make a new one. Even if we come all the way up to here, we can just roll right back down and then test that low, make a new one if we roll negative. Now, to roll negative here, you're most likely going to have to see a good amount of selling, right? We're going to have to see a decent amount of selling in this area, right? Come down to a point like this. So this is why I'm saying this area up here is the potential for some kind of trend reversal or at least a good pullback. So that's what we'll pay attention to going forward. We can pull this up and say, okay, well, where would that pullback go to? Well, we've moved up pretty rapidly here. So what if we pull down to this area and then pull right back up? That's what I would pay attention to on the daily scale. Just make sure this isn't rolling negative again. Because if this rolls negative, you're kind of like, okay, now maybe it's really ripped away, right? We didn't get very deep down in this. So what you'd like to see for actual basing out and things like that is what we saw back here Thursday in October, right? We saw the divergences on Apple. We see the flatness of the MACD and RSI on the SPY here. And what's going to happen with that? That's more of a solid reversal. At this point, you would say, okay, well, if we go up towards this area, we sell off. If we go up towards this area, we sell off. Maybe we come down to this point right here, and that's where we base out and we see that climb back up over time. We're still open to everything. We're still open to this just going higher. We're not saying 100% this has to crash down by October. No, we're just following the signals, and if we're in that crash, we're just going to follow the signals and trade that thing on the way down. And baby girl's crying. Be crying. Nvidia gap down, yeah. Morning, Lucas, and all cool. Thanks, Uniworld. You're welcome. Hopefully that was helpful. Bubba, welcome, welcome, welcome. Dee Dee, hello, hello. Anthony, good morning. So thank you guys for showing up today. And today we're going to be doing a lot. We're going to just be paying very close attention to what the stock market is doing. We're seeing a few bits of red come in. Tesla going red here. Remember, this is the one that we're like, okay, we wanted a retest on 180.92. Now it's starting to break below that. So you don't really want the hourly to roll over fully negative here. Now we're crossing through the center line, but this hasn't rolled over negative. So not that true confirmation. If you wanted to take this, you would say, okay, this went past the center line, so good shot. We actually come and fill this gap. Okay, if you take that, stop in place, right? Stop somewhere in this area, because if you get that to roll back around, positive territories right there, we can come test this high. So you can be really hurt by that. And so you have to be on your toes in a market like this. Amazon going up to higher levels, overbought on the hourly. Remember, this is where we really want to see that drop back off. I don't know why the bar is... Oh, that's a red dot on me. I said the 16-month baby girl wakes up at 8:32. Yeah, she wakes up at probably like 7:30. Probably like 7:30. I'm gonna say bye to the girls, so I'm gonna leave you guys on the spy real quick. I'm gonna carry Ari out. She's getting pretty heavy nowadays. I'll be right back. Yeah, sometimes baby girl wakes up and she's in a great mood and everything's cool and everything's good and everything's fine. But sometimes she wakes up and it's like all hell broke loose. So yeah, that can be a little rough. Alrighty, so we're just paying attention to the early parts of today. If we wanted to, we can go into a shorter time frame. I know hourly can be a little dry. I just want to show you the MACD is starting to show you, hey, this is an area where you could reverse on the 15-minute. But just because this is a squeeze, we're seeing that price go up, and guess what? The MACD coming down. So it's telling you there is some weakness showing up in this move, but that could just continue over time. The 15-minute could just keep doing that. And then once it gets to the center line, you just see another big move. So I want you to pay attention to that because short squeezes are very hard to short, right? It's a short squeeze, so it's going to be very difficult to short, right? Tesla's back up. All right, there you go. Tesla is starting to buy back up. Remember, I wanted that retest of 180.92. Made sure to say that right before the open. I think that was a good thing to pay attention to. Now you can see if that hourly wants to just, or that 30-minute even if the 30-minute or something like that wants to go into positive territory from here. You're getting this red bar. Now that flips back to positive. Okay, what did we get? We got the cup. This is a deep handle. Now we can start to head higher from here. You can see the structure in this overall is still a little bit flaggy. So I wouldn't say it's the best flag in the world, but this is what you want to see from a lot of stocks. You want to see them dipping down. And Tesla is one of those ones that I think is something to pay attention to find out if it's an opportunity. That's how I would say it. I would see if the probabilities can add up to this curling up. Okay, if this 30-minute flips back to positive and takes out this high, it's probably going to make a run to go test this high up here. Apple doing a very similar thing. 30-minute able to curl up positive territory. This is the kind of structure you want to see to head higher from here. If you want to get in early on a move, hey, 15-minute already told you to be in this move at this moment. So this is one that I would really pay attention to at this point. Probably going to see this get up and test the high, right? Or go make a new one. So that's what I would pay attention to going forward. And remember, we started out the week up in these areas, so you can do things like, if you're part of Patreon, you can look at Apple, look at those weekly expected moves. Did we get down towards it? A little bit, just not fully there. But the upside weekly expected move we can see is higher and it's within this zone. So right now the bullishness is what you want to kind of play with going forward. Now, what if we see some kind of big pop up here and then you get a reversal signal? If the 30-minute continues to grow here, guess what you have? You have a 30-minute divergence, which likes to roll over the 2 hours. So that could be a better thing to pay attention to. Sometimes the individual stocks in a short squeeze will show you more the reversal signal than the actual SPY or Qs. Because a lot of things are squeezing, so the SPY and the Q is not really going to show you the best stuff, but you can pay attention to things like Apple, things like Tesla, things like Microsoft, and say, okay, well, if this makes another upward move, then I can see divergence up here and have some sort of play. Microsoft really starting to back off here. This is what I want to see, though. This is what I want to see from Microsoft. This is a very important level. I would really doubt we're just going to blow past that. Days and days worth of buying to blow past that at this point. I don't know if the narrative's good enough on the fundamental side for that. But what I would say going forward is if this bases out at any point, now we can pay attention to that reversal, right? We can pay attention to the next move higher. So I'm going to be paying close attention to Microsoft going forward and just try to treat this as some kind of just a little bit of a swing trader. We can look at Exxon real quick. Now, this is kind of the inflation play, right? So this is saying, hey, inflation's going to continue to be in this market, and we can see that the stock market's still inflated. So inflation definitely still in this market. But as of right now, you'd say that is a big move. Might need to digest. It digested. It went down towards the center line. What you could probably see here is another 15-minute curling up. This is one on the shorter time frames you could probably pay attention to. It's not dropping off dramatically at this point. It's still holding up. Maybe it wants to come down and fill this gap. All right, so if it fills that gap, turns back up, what happens if the 15-minute curls up into positive territory? We test the high, we make a new one. The thing about making a new high here would really be some confirmation, maybe to get out of some important resistance levels. Okay, so if we start to draw up some lines here, we would say, okay, I'm going to draw this across. Maybe that 15-minute divergence is able to get me through this. But also, maybe that 15-minute divergence makes some kind of pop up to this level, and then we see that fade, and we have a 15-minute divergence like this. Sorry, I think I was saying divergence. I meant this needs to curl up into positive territory, and then you'll have the 15-minute divergence above you. And then that would say, hey, I could reverse the trend and keep going down. So just pay attention to that going forward. But I think that you have a chance where this pops. Now you had someone like Tom Lee and people like, and Tom Lee has been eerily right a lot the last year, and it's kind of insane how right he's been. So if he says something, I don't know if he has insider info for sure or something like that, but it seems like he's kind of the puppeteer right now that's telling you, hey, stocks can go up, but inflation's going to come down. So that would mean this 15-minute divergence maybe does prove to be something. And this actually would take not a lot of time to happen. Okay, so you'd really like to see that kind of signal right before a big event like CPI or PPI. But or Pando, good morning. Slot Machine, I hope that was helpful. I would really just be saying this is a good thing to pay attention to. You just want to be careful because this could be a prolonged pullback, okay? So make sure that 15 minutes giving you that confirmation. You got to wait for confirmations. 30-minute could still roll down and go negative here. So you just want to be a little careful. Sorry, there's a little heart on the screen. Do you think, I don't think he likes Tesla, honestly. So Warren Buffett is an old school investor, and I think he understands how car companies are one of the most difficult industries to be successful. Car companies really are one of the most difficult industries to be successful in. I think it's like the second most fail rate to restaurants, right? Restaurants they come and go. They're very quick, but restaurants are kind of like you make it or you don't. So restaurants are a very risky thing, but cars and car dealerships, car anything is very, very difficult to keep going. Okay, it's because of a profitability thing too. Most car companies don't make money off of the actual sale of the car. They make it off of, at least the traditional ones like Ford or something like that. Most of them make their money actually off of resale of used cars or parts. They make a lot of money off of parts. So that's why a company like Ford that doesn't necessarily make the best engines, and it's not necessarily their fault. They're following protocol for a lot of things. I actually, weirdly enough, watch a lot of mechanics talk about cars. Even though I know nothing about cars, I like to watch what mechanics say about like how good cars are. And a lot of them would say Ford, Chevy, Jeep, these are ones that die out really fast. The engine is not necessarily the best. Okay, that's what I would say with that. Now, what do we take from that? It just means that a new company has to find a way to make money. Is Tesla actually profitable right now? That's something I think you would pay attention to. Is Tesla profitable enough to the actual price it's worth right now? Right now it's worth 180. Okay, is it profitable enough to really validate that price point for a stock of Tesla? And that's what I think he would more pay attention to. He really most of the time isn't doing things like this, I don't think. I think he would rather get into, something that's really been a staple name, proven itself. Like, he might be thinking of buying Apple back or something like that. He still has some Apple holdings. They just sold, I think, like 13 to 20%. Yeah, franchise dealerships make most money on service and selling used cars. Exactly. That's why they're very, very happy to buy your used car from you, right? They can buy your used car and you can say you paid $20,000 for it. They can buy it back from you a few years later for $7,000 and then flip around and sell it for 13. That's really where they make some money. Because it's kind of like you're selling the same car twice in their scenario. Let me chug some coffee. I haven't drank this at all. I don't want it to get cold. People call Ford meme found on road dead. I personally, I drove a Ford for a long time. I really liked my Ford Escape. I had a 2007 Ford Escape for a long time. I actually really liked it, but it was more the style of the car. It constantly had problems, especially once I got over like 130,000 miles. It really started to find some faulty things, especially with like the engine. I had parts that were just blowing off of it and things like that. And I'm not like a crazy driver or anything, and I'm in Kansas. It's relatively flat. When I had that car, I was in Kansas. The car that actually lasted me the longest was my 1990 BMW. My 1990 BMW. I should have sold my Palantir call before earning. Damn, was up and then lost. Lesson learned. Yeah, we said it over and over and over again that Palantir gave you a get out of jail free card. This is a get out of jail free card. You see the call option. You take a call here. Okay, you're playing the signals. That's perfectly fine. We get the beat down to the center line. What happens? We curl down negative territory. We curl up into positive. Okay, positive move this whole time. This is a get out of jail free card. This really is. This is, hey, now I made my money. I don't even have to play earnings. But hey, at least you're learning the lesson. I mean, I like the accountability. I love you taking responsibility. I'd say that I like anime. I would really, really say that. I really like the fact that at least you're saying, like, I should have done this, and that will stick in your brain now. Maybe it'll be like your Zillow moment. Nvidia getting hammered. Nvidia down 2.66%. Remember, these things need pullbacks. And so that's what we're overall paying attention to today. Now we want to see if any signals are confirming across the board. I'm going to go look at some of my stuff. Like I said, my long exposure is almost nothing now. Yeah, my long exposure is not very much right now, so I'm chilling, I'm relaxing, and I think we're gonna see a point where volatility ends up coming in soon. But will that just be a pullback? So you really want to see, yes, this 30-minute curling up. If that goes positive, that's a sign volatility is coming in. You need this 2-hour to go positive as well, and it's still very far from the center line, right? You do have the divergences and things like that, but in order for this to go positive, you're gonna have to see a massive move here, I think, for volatility. So a massive drop off in the stock market. But do I think that's coming? I think this will overall be a pullback. We're gonna probably see the 2-hour roll up and roll back down, but doesn't mean I'm not open to it. The Dow heading higher and higher, right? Heading higher and higher. The 2 hour getting a little bit overbought there. So we want to see the 30-minute. Never got a meaningful pullback. You have all this flatness remaining overbought for quite some time. Able to blow past this. That's actually a good sign. You blow past it. Okay, now if we can base out inside it one more time, well, maybe we actually get a breakout to the upside. It's just this isn't a meaningful pullback, right? The price action just going up from here, remaining overbought. Not a good sign for a trader to take anything because that can get ripped away at any time. But as of right now we're seeing some things dip back down. We're seeing Nvidia dip down, AMD start to falter just a little bit here. Meta, one thing to pay attention to, Microsoft. Microsoft, if that thing can pull down, I think that's a good opportunity maybe. And Meta, I think, needs a full retest of 453. Literally, I called in 10 contracts just to make a little profit before I closed. That was risky, but it was definitely a get out of jail for getting out of your longs. Yeah, even Audi, you don't have the premium you pay on BMW. And that's the thing. That's what's funny about like Lexus. Like, you guys know the company Lexus. Do you know the engine that is in the Lexus is the same engine that's in the Ford Escape? It's like the same structure. So apparently the guy who worked at Ford, or the guy who worked at Lexus went over to Ford or something like that. And they literally have like the same engine. It's kind of like a Hyundai and a Genesis. They have the same engine. It's kind of like a what is it? I think it's like I'd have to look, but Toyotas are what I like the most. I love Toyota. I know I'm basic as hell saying that, but I like Toyota a lot, and that's the one it's easy to fix. It's a very good car. It lasts a long time. Great engine. It's like, why wouldn't I get a Toyota? The only big car I've thought about getting is a 4Runner, and that thing is a Toyota. And the only reason I want that is because I like the look of it. Rolls-Royce has it. Lexus has Toyota. Lexus has Toyota. That's what it is. Lexus has a Toyota engine. You're right. Yeah. I might have had that incorrect. But I think it was Lexus, the guy who used to work on or make or construct those engines, went and Ford like paid him out to come over to Ford. Toyotas have served me really well. They always will. I think they always will. And Lexus isn't bad. It's just a like we're saying with premiums, right? It's a premium brand. It's a luxury brand, if you will. So hopefully this buy pulls back today. Hey, I think I hope so too. I hope even for bulls this pulls back today. I think that would be very, very good to see this pull back into the zone and then, build back up. That would be very, very good market behavior after a little bit of a short squeeze, right? The real big short squeezes we get in a bear market, those things just keep going like this. So those are ones you really want to be in, but you didn't have that structure down here to show you that. So this is a weak short. This should be a weaker short squeeze than usual. Because usually when you see a big short squeeze, like in a bear market, okay, usually you get a 2-touch like this, and then you just take off, but you have more of a bounce trampoline effect like that going on. But we didn't get that this time, so this could just be, hey, short squeeze for a little bit, go up to a zone where we sell off, and then see that pulled. And then we have to base out, see what's happening from there. F-150s, I'm not a Ford guy. Yeah, well, that's the difference, okay? So when you talk about trucks, it's a little different. Ford, when you go to a staple thing, yeah, you guys are right. You're fixing me. I told you I don't know much, but yeah, the Toyota engine in the Lexus. But when you talk about a stapled thing, so like the Ford F-150 is like a thing they've done forever. If you want a good truck, people would probably actually say Ford, right? They would say Ford because Ford has done that for so long, repeatedly. The Escape changes all the time. It really does. The Ford Escape changes a little bit all the time. The Pontiac vibe and the Toyota Matrix are the same. I love Toyota too. Juju les Toyota. I'm glad we're all super basic. I love it. Nvidia's still dropping off from here just a little bit. Well, it's wicking out a tiny bit there. We'll have to see. So this would be, we wanted left head, this area right here. We wanted right shoulder. We might go try to dip down a little lower here. We'll have to see what happens with Nvidia. Buy American. Yeah. I mean, we import them and then you end up buying from Americans, but here's what I would say if you want me to buy more American is how about we actually put some effort into the car? How about we make engines that don't break down all the time? Like you're saying, oh, buy Chevy. All right, well, Chevy has like the worst engine. All right, buy Jeep. All right, Jeep has bad engines. All right, so you want us to buy bad engines? Sorry, we're at the end of the day, consumer decision comes down to like what's longevity. I would love to buy American, and I probably will. I probably will continue to. I'll probably buy a Ford F-150 one day. But as of right now, I'm looking for probably a family-friendly car that's going to last a long time. So I'm probably looking at Toyota. It could. I think like sedans and things like that might be fine. Buy Mexican. Dude, why'd that immediately make me think of lunch, Carlos? That immediately made me think of lunch. Thanks for these plays. Do auto channel later. True. Happy Fridays. He's right. This is not a car. Definitely not a car place. 30 minutes still has to go positive here. So if the 30-minute can go positive, extremely positive, you need a big move from the 2-hour. You need the 2-hour to go positive. The worry here is we're going to see some kind of pop like this, stay in this channel. If you guys didn't notice, by the way, I really researched the VIX, and I think you can read more into this channel we have here than actually like some kind of wedge or anything like that. I think if this channel is kind of what we're in right now, I think this would be better to pay attention to than some kind of wedge or anything like that. So if you get outside of this channel, then you have a good shot. But notice that the channel above it, you do have resistance here. You have resistance probably at 1683. So we're going to need some kind of dramatic event if this is going to be some kind of major top again here. If we're going to get that lower high, which can happen. 2-hour divergences, they like to roll up the daily. So we'll pay attention to the daily if the 2-hour can see a big pop here. Am I leaning towards? I think this probably pops up, comes back down. We go down towards 1212, and this is going to be some sort of pullback. But we have to be weary of geopolitical stuff. We have to be weary about a lot of things going on right now. We're starting to finally see the SPY fade. The SPY on the 15-minute has a chance for a slight reversal in trend here, right? It's been heading up over time, but the MACD pulling down. So if that can cross the center line, then you would say, okay, negative trend on the 15-minute. But as of right now, still squeezing. Remember, this is just a little bit of selling coming in. Remember, selling came in right here. Boom, ends up higher. Little selling comes in. Boom, ends up higher. Little selling. There's selling throughout this move, though. We know that from the dollar. Any major news event? I would just pay very close attention to the Israel-Palestine news and see if that affects the market. I don't know why, but stock market crash and crypto crash were trending on Twitter today. Maybe it was just a meme thing or something, but I don't know why that was trending necessarily. I read through a bunch of it and I was like, oh, this looks like a whole lot of nothing. But, you know, maybe there's something out there. But crypto, I don't necessarily see a crash coming. I don't necessarily see any kind of crash coming in this overall move. I think if anything, the 2-hour curls up, positive territory. Now, if you look shorter time frames, you can see it. Just by looking at this for 1 second, this is how good you can get at stocks, right? Just by looking at this for 1 second, I don't have to go into shorter time frames. What do I see? Left, head, right shoulder, base down here. So this tells me this price point right here, I would say this price point, if we close below, I would say 63,000 probably. Close below 63,000, maybe with all these closing bars, see how they're kind of all in the same area. Okay, we close below 63,000. That would be a bad sign for Bitcoin going forward. So what I would pay attention to, though, I think the 2-hour can roll up here. 4-hour curls down to the center line. If we see something more dramatic, pay attention to that curling back up. If that doesn't curl back up, though, could be over. Could be down. Luca's not reading the feed. I've literally read the feed for the last, like, 30 minutes straight. I'm sorry, Adrian. I'm trying my best here. You know how difficult it is to talk to over 100 people every day? Very difficult. Very difficult. Tesla just broke below May 3rd low. Tesla's really breaking some lows here? Ooh, 3%. See, so now, weirdly enough, look at the 4-hour chart. You might get confirmation of downside here. Maybe a full retest is coming. We can pay attention to a few things. We can see, okay, is Tesla approaching a weekly expected move. Okay, it's got plenty of room to the downside. So what would we probably look at here? Well, we still want to see this 30-minute. We still want to see that fully break down. Remember, we wanted that retest of 180. All that happened in this bar when we were testing it was we broke down below it. We bought back above it for a moment, but then we gave it away again. So this right here hasn't rolled negative yet. Keep that in mind. You're at the lows, but you have not rolled negative just yet. So once you roll negative, then you'll be confirming like a red bar like this, and that would say, okay, now I got some room. The RSI has already confirmed the downside, though. So RSI is saying, hey, yeah, this needs to come down a little bit lower, but the MACD not confirming that just yet. Am I trading any of this move? No, I'm not trading any of this move. No. I think we're still in a short squeeze. Any kind of pullback will be met up with buyer demand, right? Because we took out this high. Once we take out this high up here, that means all selling can be saved by some buyers. So if you really want to get bearish, you have to come back below 510. Also, it's very hard to read chat right now because my chat's not working on my streaming thing. People hit thumbs up for Lucas. He works hard. Oh, that I do. Imagine doing all of this and taking care of a baby who is very, very active. Very needs to be entertained. I never thought I would have to dance monkey dance for another human being, but that's what I have to do now. What I've seen with Palantir and other stocks is that their earnings outcomes turn out to be opposite of their run up. It's really is random. Darwin, I just want to let you know it's a 50-50 flip. We didn't flip it for the 50-50. We should have. Dang it, we should have flipped it. Darn it. But just to let you know. Oh, this is not correct, by the way. What you see with Palantir, it's earnings. It's a 50-50 flip. That's just all you need to know every single time. Tesla bring down just as the coin flick confirmation yesterday. Coin? What are you trying to do to us? Stop it. George? Yeah, but Tesla, I would still count this as a win for the coin. Like, someone asked, higher or lower? Someone was at, we were asking higher or lower from right here. Do we end up higher? Do we end up lower? And we said, higher. The coin said higher. Okay, boom. That makes a 6 or 7 point move up. That's a pretty good move. I think that you give that as a win, especially if you're a trader, right? 7 point move, you can make good money from. So now it's starting to fail back down. We should have flipped it again right away. Minus 18% sales in China in the news for Tesla. So Tesla really starting to struggle with that news still. Remember that this big pop was all based on something in the future that we're doing. We're doing this in the future. We're fast laning those affordable cars and things like that. And then the real news is Tesla is not performing well as a company, especially when it comes to China. Coinbase is dropping maybe to test the lows. We can look at Coinbase, but similar to, you still want to look at Bitcoin with Coinbase as well. But coin's starting to drop down a little bit here. Ooh, good trade setup. Oh my gosh, good trade setup. Okay, so you actually knew that weakness was here. This is one that you want to see. So it's good to click around, look at other things, but this is a good one. You got divergence up here. All right, this was popping up on Monday. Boom, you got confirmation of that divergence right here. Second move, boom, we head down even more, about 5.5 more points down. All right, boom, another 2% move there to make some money on. The 30-minute telling you divergence at the same time. So these are what you want. This is what you want to see for that reversal. This is really when you can see reversal. Sorry, I'm hiccuping a bunch. Do we see that on the SPY? Not necessarily. I mean, you see it on the MACD, which leans me towards some kind of pullback. We'll go back to coin for just a brief moment. Let's see if anything else is developing there. God dang it, my scroll wheel is broken. I need a new mouse. Ugh. 30-minute able to go negative here. So now you want to see, what does the 2-hour look like? See if that MACD pops up. If the 2-hour rolls negative, what are you going to do? You're probably going to test this low. Now, one thing to pay attention to at this level is if you wanted to create some kind of sideways weird head and shoulders in this area, you can hold up. So I'd say probably this level of 210 very, very important level. You see the closing bars not able to close really below like 209. So 209.80, pretty much. If you close below that, you're probably going to test this. But if we can wick out again here, you could have some good structure for a breakout, right? We want to see the breakout here. But as of right now, you'd say the 2 hour rolling over. What could I create? I could create a triple divergence here. Okay, triple divergence would be very, very nice if we did something quick like this and then pulled back up. Triple divergence would be fantastic. And I even might think about taking a play on coin if that happens. So that's a good looking setup. And I'm not seeing setups like that across any of these stocks right now. So if I see something like that, I'm probably going to take it. I don't have weekly ranges for that one. That's unfortunate. Coin, not the best one to make a weekly range for because, it reacts to Bitcoin too, and Bitcoin can be very volatile. But, hey, we can look into it. It looks like, hey, that would be a good signal that I follow a lot of the time. Now, what does coin mean? Okay, well, what if coin does that and a lot of stocks follow suit and we end up doing this, boom, something like that, and then CPI ends up being good for the market? That would be a great trade setup for AMD, even though AMD is confirming those daily MACD divergences. What if we get some kind of sudden drop and then that pops back? Maybe geopolitical news or something like that causes it. We're paying attention. This is still a bullish environment. I want to be very clear when we talk about these scenarios. It's a bullish environment. This felt really confusing. That's what the FOMC is supposed to do, right? The FOMC is supposed to confuse the hell out of you. But Anthony, thank you so much. That $10 donation is about to pop up. Thank you so much for the $10 from Anthony this morning. It's for the new mouse fund and help on charts. I like this mouse. I like a wired mouse. And I really like my Razer mouse. You guys see this? If anyone has any suggestions. I just backed out of my own stream, but we're going back in. There we go. 61 likes. We can get 40 more. We can get there. Yeah, I like a wired mouse. Glowy. Maybe that's because I'm cheap, but I really like this mouse. It's very basic. It has 3 buttons and then the clickers, and that's it. Does it have a roller ball? No, it doesn't have a roller. That big white ball. My dad has those. My dad owns a computer recycling company. So if anyone out there needs 1,000 computers, he recycles them and sells thousands of computers to businesses overseas and things like that. Does a lot of work with the Middle East and India and sometimes even places in Asia. So. This thing is annoying. This roller I really liked when I first got it, but I've had this mouse for 2 years. This is a very, very long-term mouse I've had, so I'm probably due for a new one, right? I'm always on my computer, so that makes sense. But this I noticed lately that when I scroll over here, of course now it's gonna work. There, see that bounce up? See how it bounced up? It's like it's not wanting to actually roll sometimes. So it's annoying. Yeah, so my dad will take them, and my dad will take pretty much any laptop or any computer that someone gives them, and they'll try to find the ones that they can refurbish and make very useful again, kind of like they're new but from the same age. Sometimes they'll put in, if the client asks, they'll put in basic graphics cards and things like that so it can function. They sell a lot of things like that. So if you go to my dad's office, you'll find just crates this big, right, both ways this big, and it's just full of mice, not the rodent, the clicky thing, or it's full of keyboards, or it's full of whatever. So anytime my keyboard gives out or my mouse gives out, at least I know I can go there. Yeah, is he actually just using their data? No, they wipe them clean every time. Yeah, he's actually stealing all their keys for their Bitcoin wallets. Yeah, he actually got sued by IBM once, when I was in high school. That was a rough period of time. He's not even a big business, but yeah, they sued him back in the day. But all's resolved now. That was a long time ago. Yeah. Well, that almost happened to me with that big Dogecoin run, right? I had it on an old laptop. I bought Dogecoin like 3 years before that big run that it had. And then that big run started to happen and it got up to like 8 cents. And I was like, holy crap, I need to go find that wallet. ADI, I've been trading, buying puts. It's up near its highs. Yeah, we can look at this. He does. Matthew, he does. My dad has done music festivals. My dad does things with NASCAR. My dad does things with Costa Rica, like investing in properties there. He's trying to get into townhomes and things like that. He also owns a garlic farm, and he owns a company that recycles computers and resells them overseas and things like that. So he does a lot. All right, let me see, Darwin. Let me go look at this for you. ADI. I have been trading, buying puts, it up near its highs and then getting out near the bottom, but I have not been perfectly timing its highs or really its lows. I think that it is getting near the time to buy a put again, but if there is a good way to time it, I would really like to understand that. Okay, one thing I would say is something to understand at highs and looking for reversal signals is something that we do extensively in the course. Now, I'm not going to push you to go get the course or anything. We're going to look at this for you and show you some things that you can look for. Okay, so it's this analog devices, I assume. All right, and up towards these highs. What do you want to see towards these highs? Actually, what you're seeing right now is a reversal signal. I wanted to point that out. Garlic Farm, didn't realize he was in so many things. Love it. Yeah, so I'll tell you guys about that a little bit, but yeah, he did. At this time, what would you say? If I get this to confirm, well, this would be a 2-hour divergence, almost like a double top. Okay, because of this. Look at that downward move here. So this is what you need to understand about momentum indicators. It's not necessarily about, is this going to keep going on forever? You want to pay attention to times where things that are bearish can form. So this could be one of those times. Now, do I want to just take this because I'm seeing this downward move? No, you don't. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why by looking at the SPY on a weekly scale. I just wanted to show you guys this. Remember, way back in the day, we were talking about, hey, if these divergences confirm right around here, if these divergences confirm, then that will be a bad sign for the weekly scale. But something like this could happen to you with that stock ADI. Okay, right here, we see a little bit of a top. We see some selling come in for a week. And then we say, if that confirms soon, that will be a very bearish signal, right? That would be very bearish. But notice this, it turned right back up. It did not confirm. So that's what I'm telling you with ADI. You can pay attention to this, and this is why you don't necessarily want to take a position right at this moment, because this literally could just be some kind of whatever move. We just go sideways for a moment. We see a little bit of selling, and then that just goes like that. And guess what? This just starts to go way up into positive territory, and you're screwed out. So what I would say is you can pay attention to this for now. 2-hour divergences like to roll around the daily scale. This is really how you want to be breaking down stocks, guys. This is a great lesson. I would encourage you to really pay attention to here for a moment, because this is where you want to pay attention. Now, am I seeing weakness in this move? That's what you have to ask next. In order for this to confirm, I need to see weakness in this move. So let's go see if we're seeing some weakness in this move. 30-minute, what are we seeing? I'm still seeing strength. Yes, we are overbought. I'm not seeing any reversal indication here. I'm not seeing us get close to negative territory, anything like that. So this would be a time where it's like, okay, if you take a position, just know that this 30-minute could just go sideways or be down or just blow past it with the short squeeze. You have to know your risk at that point to say, okay, well, the likelihood of it coming down and filling this gap is pretty good for some kind of pullback. But is that going to happen going forward? We'll have to see. Right now, you would say, okay, this level is important. Left head, maybe right shoulder in this area, or at least a liquidity grab in this area would be nice. So if I wanted to take a play here, I think it would make a little bit of sense with the overbought conditions, but I need multiple reasons. So I'm going to look at a 15-minute. Now we're seeing some reversal signals on the shorter time frame. Since the 30-minute didn't get any kind of meaningful pullback to curl up, we can't really tell that momentum weakening. We just know it's very overbought. That could continue. So what I would say here is, if this 15-minute confirms down from here, you have a little bit more argument for the momentum going to shift the other way. So what you would do is you see a better drop from here. You take a position, even if you want to take it right now, you just see if that happens. Then you say, okay, I'm going to put my stop at, 207 or something like that. If you want to take this, that's what I would be thinking about. Now, would I take this trade right now? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I would really be waiting for that confirmation of downside, take the play right around here, then that play is going to keep going, and then I'll see that bounce up. If that's able to curl up into positive territory, okay, then I know I do not want to take anything short here, right? Because I'm curling up into positive territory. But if this sees something more dramatic, let's say we get a sell bar here, I'm in, and then that gets more dramatic, we see this actually go negative, then I could say, okay, any bounce will be met with by some selling. So if this bounce goes like this and curls back down, now this MACD, instead of looking like this, which could have screwed you over, now it looks like this, right? And then that second drop comes, boom, there's the next point. So that's overall how I see things, and that's how I do things, and I hope that that's overall helpful. You see the 2-hour divergence, very good one to pay attention to. I wanted to point that out. Good job, good find. But you have to pay attention to, how can I get screwed? You can get screwed here because if you take this play on the 15-minute and that curls back up, you need to get out of that position quickly. That's what I would tell anyone that I'm trying to make, like, give some lessons to, right? I would say that's how you would get screwed. But if you get into this move and then it sees dramatic selling, then you see some kind of pop, well, that's going to make the MACD look a whole lot different, right? You're comparing this look, which is pretty bullish, to this look, which is actually bearish, okay? I hope that was helpful. I think that that was a very, very good one to do a lesson on. That was a very good one to pay attention to. Thanks for bringing that up. Why IBM would sue a garlic farm, yeah. Great lesson, and more Pando gets it. More Pando's been doing very, very well. See, now on the 15-minute, what are you seeing from the Qs? You're seeing these divergences form. They're getting closer to negative territory. So this is why these areas are where we really have to pay attention to. We're getting up towards a major sell-off zone, in my opinion. And so if we keep going up to that area, what's happening as we go up? Well, the MACD is saying, hey, this could just give up at any time and go negative, right? Because we're getting very close to that center line. So this is where it would be, okay, another day, another pop. Okay, let me scale out of the longs even a little bit more. You know, I have 100% longs. Okay, scale out 50%. Okay, then scale out 50% of that. Now you're down to 25%. Okay, now scale out maybe 90% of that or 80% of that. Now I'm only exposed 5%. I made money on 95% of my trade, and I can see if something crazy happens and make a little bit more. But overall, it's like, now at these levels, I need to be hedging a little bit, okay? So that's what I've started doing ever since this move right here. I started hedging my play up in this area. Now, if we make some kind of big move up to here, I can change that into a full short position. Netflix is going up. Dang, Netflix going up still here. A lot of divergence in this move. This is, I'd be a little worried about Netflix, man. That is sure, that's a very, very strong move, but, wow. You know, it's hard to fight against this. It's hard to fight against this, right? Because this could just keep doing that whole thing for a long, long time. It really can. That's kind of V-shape, right? It's V-shape. But you would say, at this point, maybe this continues for a little bit longer, right? We trail up a little bit longer, and then that starts to fade back down. We haven't necessarily seen tapering throughout this entire move. We're just seeing a vertical, pretty much vertical buying up in this area. You can see that little channel it's in. So in order for us to really break down, you'd probably want to see that channel broken. See something like this, get one more pop like this, and then, I know this is a lot of drawings, and then you would see a clear divergence at this level, something that you're actually looking for. But I totally understand if you're part of the course or you took the course and you made a range for this on Robinhood like we teach you on the course. This could be an area that you really want to pay attention to, right? So Friday, where were we at on the close? Right about here. Okay, so you've gone up how far in just a couple of days? Less than a couple of days. We've gone up about 3%. So that's where I would check my weekly expected move if I was trading Netflix. Now I'm not trading Netflix at this moment. Starbucks. Starbucks is one that I think suffered right during the earnings. Right? Suffered during the earnings. What do I want to see? I want to see that 30-minute curl down negative territory. So Something to note here when you do get that direct. Now you're still oversold, so I don't know if the short opportunity is the best. What I would do if I want to take this play to the downside, because you have a lot of room here, just know that sometimes you do see this little blip and then that curls back up and you have a very meaningful, very significant divergence like we talk about in the course. But what I would pay attention to if I'm looking for that is go to the daily scale, look if there's any kind of support below you, okay, and start to mark off some areas. All right, so if I'm going to play this down, okay, there's my best reward there. Maybe here's my first reward here. There's a little zone in between these two white lines, right? So 750, 7050 to, what's this number right here? 7050 to 6850 is what I'd really be looking for here. I think 6850, 7050 makes total sense. What would that do? Well, we'd be dropping down. Now, the thing about Starbucks, even if it does get a reaction at this level, yeah, that's very, very negative, and you could just curl right back down. So it does not look good for Starbucks. I think this is a very, very bearish-looking thing, obviously. Very obvious to see that. But if you would take a play like this, maybe you look at an hourly, see that curl down, but notice you're still overbought. It's not the best opportunity. I understand the thinking. I just think you'll have to be quick with it because this price action's already moved down from 75 all the way down to 72. It would have been better if it just kept doing this and then curled down up here. You could get in around 74, and then that breaks down to 68, and then you say, okay, that's where I'm expecting some kind of bounce at that level. So you have two support levels now. If you play it, that can happen. Just know that this can be brief. Exactly, Carlos, and that's kind of my thinking here. It's already overbought. I don't think this is the best play in the world, and also more Pando. You've done so well. You've done so well that I think you're like, I don't know how well you've done in the beginning of this month exactly, but you've done really well according to what you've told me so far. And I think that one thing you could do from right now is just be like, let me wait for a perfect trade. After you make a good amount of money, a lot of people want to hop into the next trade immediately. I would encourage you to almost take like a full day and just be like, I'm just going to watch what happens. And if I see something really, really good set up, I'll take it. And then go into the next day. Okay, I made good money last week, so I'm going to watch what happens. If I see something really, really good, I'll take it. Nothing good. Nothing really, really good. No 5-reason trade. All right, now I'm going to take another day. Right? You can have a few days to just relax. Overtrading is one of the worst things to do. Overtrading is a very rough thing to do. That's why you'll see me a lot. If I make money early on in the week, I'll just be like, hey, I made my money, and I might do a fun play for the next 4 days and just talk about stocks with you guys. And then if I see something very good set up while we're talking, then I will be like, all right, I'm going to take this position, right? That's how I do it. I'm like, if I get last week, I made off my trades, I made what 300% in an hour and 500% all like since now to now. Pretty much, I've made like 500% on my trades, not on my portfolio. That would be insane, and I probably would be in Vegas right now. But no, I wouldn't. My daughter wouldn't let me. Can babies go to Vegas? Anyway, so what does that tell me for this week? I can be very, very patient with it. I can scale out of my positions very patiently. I can start to build my hedge very patiently, and then I can take a short position patiently if that sets up for me. And I can be very, very patient with everything. I can see Apple. If this actually wants to curl up on this MACD, maybe I take a short play up, but then I say to myself, is this the best play? It's already going into overbought territory if it makes another move higher. So do I want to take that necessarily? No. Maybe I actually want to just wait for this to get outside of its weekly range and give me some kind of confirmation of divergence. That would be a better play than trying to take this upside. Now I have to be cautious with this. This is a short squeeze, but I know this is a sell-off zone for Apple. It'd be outside of its weekly range. It would give me the divergence. So this would be a much better, and I would say less risky trade to the downside than trying to take upside right here, just because you're pretty overbought at this point. So even though we have a little bit of room there, I'm just saying, like, I like it to be like almost right by the center line so that I know there's a bunch of room to the upside. These co-cuffing shorts. What is PLTR up to? What's Palantir doing, man? Oh my goodness. Get out of jail free card. Please God, tell me one person listen, like, I say it over and over and over again. Please, God, tell me someone took profit on Palantir before the earnings and listened. Please. I'm gonna lose my damn mind. And I'm so sorry I like anime that you were caught up in that, but and I know it's a learning experience. Lesson learned. You said that. That's awesome, but please tell me one person was like, I'm gonna take a little bit of profit here. God damn it. Everyone says they don't listen. It's like, what's the point of watching this thing? No, it's okay. Just lesson learned, guys. Lesson learned. I made calls, got screwed. God, it's like, I think that tells me this. That tells me this. One, I think there's two things that are telling me this with most people who were still in calls after this big move. And knowing that you had a lot of risk, a ton of risk. You had a 50. You played black or red. You pretty much went. You actually would have saved yourself a full day. You should have taken profit on this move, went to a casino, and then just bet black or red. And that's pretty much what happened. But a call as a gamble play. Well, J. Cole, at least, like, here's the thing. And the difference here is taking profit and letting some ride is a lot different than taking 100% profit or taking calls the next day, right? Having calls the next day is a lot different than taking profit and playing with house money. It can be. For days like this, I can tell you it is. For moves like this, I can tell you it is. If you buy this option, this is going to be so cheap that you can get so many, and if you're able to get above, like if you take an out of the money or something, like 24, or something like that, and then you see this big rapid move, you're going to make a ton of money off this move. Small stocks like this, you can still make some good money on. Do I trade Palantir very often? No, I don't. Let's see what else is happening with Palantir. 2 hour. Ooh, man, that can really get going. 2029, we still pay attention to. What does that daily bar look like at this point? Divergence on the VIX 2 hour 30 minute. Yep. And we're still seeing if that happens. Now the daily here looks kind of bad for Palantir, to be honest, with this big drop, because now you have the potential to turn negative, and if you break through 2029, you might go fill this gap all the way at 1670. Oof, that would be not pretty, but if you go into negative territory here, it's lining up 200 or the gap fill. Because you can cut through all this like butter. Yeah, that's why earnings as well. Like pretty much everyone's trying to guess red or black, and so that's going to make the price of both pretty expensive. I don't like to take plays on a stock this small. I like stocks that are worth like 150, 180, things like that. I think those are very, very good prices. Rough looking day, but good morning. Last night we were supposed to get a bunch of tornadoes, and none of them hit Wichita. Prayers for the people if it did hit you. Everyone should be trying to keep Nebraska and Oklahoma on their mind. That is that's not something you want to see. Price wise for trading Tesla. I mean, it's holding there. You just don't want that daily to roll over, but it's holding there. 30-minute cross down. It's trying to go negative right now, so you'd be a little bit worried for downside. But remember, you have to close below probably this wick here, right? 176. You got to get a closing bar below 176. Along with Tom Nash. Tom Nash is a Palantir BJer. And he gives pretty good info, but just something about Palantir. I don't know if he's like paid by them or something, but it always seems like he's like Palantir 5x, like every single thumbnail I see. I don't pay attention to him too much. New to the channel, your streams are so helpful. Jera, I really appreciate that. Hopefully they continue to be helpful and you can learn from them a bit, and then just like, come back in here and be like, hey, can I get a second opinion? Not should I buy, should I sell? Just, hey, should I get a second opinion? Because you always want to see what you're looking at. We just looked at, what was it, ADI? And ADI, that's a great one to look at. That was a great question. Nasty day for Disney. We have not, and yeah, welcome. You guys, welcome Jera into the chat here. The Michael Saylor of Palantir. Nasty day for Disney. More guidance around a lack of consumer spending, retail, entertainment, etc., all suffering from a forecast that we, the people, will all be broke within the year. How fun. Let's go look at Disney. Let's go look at Disney. I haven't looked at this in a long time. Hey, guess what? Disney gave you a get out of jail free card. What a good get out of jail free card. I moved from 110 all the way up to almost 117. Pretty much a get out of jail free card if you were bullish down in this area. Okay, boom, goes positive right here. If you're in this move, all right, that's a big run up very quickly. Probably some good profit there. Boom, that drops off. So let's look at this guy on the daily scale here. Man, does that look like a lower high breaking through a head and shoulders or what? This is your base down in this area. Very important price to keep. And we didn't even come down to that area to get a retest, but you see the liquidity in here. Boom, here. We actually grab some to head higher, and then all that liquidity gets flushed right after. Gapping down, look at that. It's behaving very cool because it's gapping down below the very important area. So now you can use that as resistance, and it looks like the price action for Disney will end up being down over time now because you're breaking through the key support level. I mean, unless like this wick's going to come into play, but I'd say the closing bars are more important, this 107. So right now, what would I pay attention to? A 30-minute or a 15-minute. Maybe a 15 with the earnings, right? See how oversold that is? Now, that can keep going, but you could maybe see some kind of pull down and then pull back up to this level to retest that 107 and then see that break down again. So at this point, you would say this is not the best time to enter into this trade. You need to see some structure as a trader. Go woke, go broke. Yo, I heard something crazy. Tell me if you guys think this is interesting. Also, the SPY, look at that. Some divergence on the MACD, but not on the RSI, guys. So leaning towards a pullback here still, based on the signals here. Something I thought was interesting. Who's that swimmer chick that like swam against a dude that's a chick? Leah Thomas and someone else. I don't know, but apparently Bud Light tried to give her $50 million. $50 million to be the face of their brand after doing all that Dylan Mulvaney stuff that people were really hyped or whatever, mad about. And she turned down $50 million and said, I will not save your gender baiting brand or something. And I was like, holy crap, you turned down Riley Gaines. She turned down $50 million. All right, one of the best pieces of advice Lucas has shared for me, being a high-risk tolerant trader, is to make money slowly. Yes, make money slowly. Once you start to realize the only fast way to become rich by trading stocks is the slow way, and you stop watching those day traders who are not being honest with you. There are good day traders out there. I like Michael Silva. He's a very good guy. I think he does things very, very well. We do some things similarly. We trade a lot of breakouts and things like that. But he is a good day trader. He'll give it to you straight. And I actually tuned into his stream. I've never seen him stream before, but I just tuned into his stream and he's saying a lot of similar things. He's like, should you be buying into this move? No, you need to see some kind of beatdown or something like that. I love making money quickly. I just don't enjoy losing it all equally as quickly. Yeah, I heard that will land her many more millions. Most of these YouTube day traders are pushing their channels. Lucas is real deal. Hey, I'm still pushing my channel. I don't want to be unclear about that. But I think a lot of people would say like, oh, I'm talking about the course a ton. That's just because there's a sale. I'm not going to mention it a bunch. I actually think it's helpful. But that sale is over. So you'll probably hear a lot less about the course. But it's always there if you want to learn. It's always there, and it's one of the probably most efficient and best and simplest courses for you to really learn a lot. Nvidia seems to be hovering around 900. Pause to go lower. We'll see. Let's go check on Nvidia for a second here. All right, there's your 15-minute beatdown. So see, this is where you could say there's an opportunity here. I've never heard you say a single word about making money on the course. Yeah, and it's like, sure, I'll probably make a little bit of money on the course, but if I was selling that course for what, like other people, $2,000 and selling it for 500 and saying 75% off, probably would make a lot of money. But I'm not here to make a lot of money. I'm here to make a lot of money with my trading. Not here to make a lot of money off you guys. I know times are tough, and I would never try to get someone to buy something that I don't see a lot of value in. That's actually what led me into a bunch of problems with my sales jobs. I used to work a lot of sales jobs. I'm very good at talking to people and talking about product, but my bosses would get mad at me because if I didn't think a product was good for someone, I would say, you probably shouldn't buy this product. It's not worth your money. Look at this thing instead that was cheaper. And they would really hate that. My problem is cutting my losses. I lost 8K on Tesla last week because I didn't just cut my loss. Now, Jera, here's one thing about the way we do things here. It's in the course, but about a lot of the things we do here is you want to figure out not only why you're taking a trade. I think a lot of people don't do this. I think a lot of people don't do this where they take a trade, right? Let's say you take this trade and you go short on Nvidia. All right, I'm short on Nvidia. I'm not. Just remember that. But you're short on Nvidia. Okay, now I'm in the money. Now what are you thinking? Okay, this is going to reverse down and this. Think for 1 second. Just think of this every single time you take a trade and you see a move. How could I get screwed? How could Nvidia screw me over if I'm short right here? How would I really get ruined? Well, this 15-minute curls up, right? If this 15-minute, this is what we learn all throughout watching these videos in the course. Boom, this 15-minute curls up into positive territory. What does that mean? We have a high potential to test this high or go make a new one. This right here is what screws me out. It screws me over. If that just makes that move up and confirms, then I know, okay, I need to be careful now. That is something that will really, really help you out. Cutting your losses, if you're already in a point where this has curled up and come above this high, I would say this, take a longer out expiration because sometimes that makes a 15-minute divergence. So you can either stay in that move and scale in like I like to do a lot of the time, or you can always flip back and forth. You can always be like, all right, I thought that was the moment. That wasn't it. All right, I'm out until I see another signal prove itself. That signal proves itself. You're back into the short side. That's what I would say. Always pay attention to how a trade can hurt you because being aware of both is very, very good. You won't get screwed out of a lot of trades now, or you'll at least lose less. I've never purchased any course or anything like that except yours because you're not trying to get rich off of us. Just on your trading, that speaks volumes on the quality of the course. And that's exactly it. And I'm sharing exactly what I do. I'm literally giving you exactly how I do things. And if you implement it correctly, you can make good money. Sure, everyone goes through hard times. Everyone goes through a tough month. That's perfectly fine. But if you're risk managed, it's going to be a lot less of a tougher month. Good morning, Donald. Parth, are you using the MACD and RSI indicators as proposed by TradingView, or have you created your own custom version? I haven't created my own custom version. Overall, with the MACD here, you can see I'm keeping it pretty regular, 12, 26, 9. I like the 9 smoothing. And then what I'll do if I'm trading in a bear market is I'll switch this this moving average you got here. Anyone not see my 5? See the red line here? This line here, when it's in a bear market, I like to have a 9. Okay? Now I like to have a 9 for this sometimes. Now, depending on the environment, but overall, if you use a 5, it's still perfectly fine. I just like my 9 to be the same as my smoothing when things are volatile. So I can see, that closing bar above my 9, which is also a 9 smoothing on the MACD, which means if the MACD is crossed, that means you're above the 9-day moving average at that point. Okay, so that's what I do there. Now, for times like right now, I'm still working with a 5 because we're seeing an upward move. So why would I use a 5? Well, I need the 5 because we're just riding that thing all the way up. Look at that. We're just riding it all the way up. So in a short squeeze, a 5 is very, very useful. And proposed by TradingView, have you created custom? And then RSI is a similar thing. I take out the that yellow like center line looking thing. I don't really like that. I just want to pay attention to oversold, overbought, crossing the center line, and divergences. That's all you got to do with the RSI. I keep it very regular though. There you go, Parth. Though, if you need to keep those, if you just needed some clarification there. I was always taught it's easy to recover from a small loss. It's easy to recover from a small loss as long as you're not trying to, make it back right away. Still be patient, wait for the next signal. Just say, oh, you got to treat it like this, huh? All right. I lost a little bit. I was in the Air Force. Oh, nice. My best friend is in the Air Force. He's over in Okinawa right now, Jira. Exactly. Small loss, and then you really want to. And Daniel, I'm here too, man. I started a position on Amazon, looking overbought, so I bought 190 put this morning on it. I actually don't think that's like the worst decision in the world. Look at this major divergence on a 15-minute. Now, that is not at the same time on the RSI. We talk about that a lot. It's not at the same time. So what am I still leaning towards here? Cup and handle. Big cup and handle, right? Big cup, big handle here maybe. And then we just see this curl up right back above that center line. So I know this is a 15-minute, so you got to take it with a little grain of salt. I'd say 30-minute probably better here. Look at that divergence on the 30-minute proving itself, man, about to confirm. What could that do? Well, that could bring us down. It's on the MACD, but not the RSI at the same time, so we could get some kind of handle in this area. A good pullback makes sense from here. Good morning, slot machine. So I think it makes sense. Like, it makes sense. You just want to make sure these things are confirming. I like the name slot machine for like a guy that pays attention to stocks. 1348 Discord and Dave don't. It's about his customers and it's just trades. I mean, these are momentum trades. We talk about it. And, you know, if the channel grows and it gets really big, it's going to be difficult. But that's why once the channel, if this channel continues to grow, hey, I hope it does. I hope that everything's still helpful. That as long as this channel's helpful, I think it continues to grow. And that's a very good business plan there for YouTube. But what I would say is we'd probably make like a members page for live video so we don't just get people who are coming in asking to buy or sell stuff. And it'll be a small amount or something like that. And then we could just do members only kind of streams and things like that and do a few free ones throughout the week. But I think that's the overall good thing there is you still want to make sure that the people that you're talking to are committed and you don't have a huge crowd. If I have 1,000 people in here and I'm trying to help you guys out, it's very difficult. So I think doing that would make a lot of sense. Can you confirm for me that there was indeed an obvious divergence on Nvidia yesterday before it dumped today? Let's go look. Now, Nvidia still, we actually mentioned these 30 minutes, okay? Now, you do have flatness now. So that's what we were really talking about. So the 30-minute divergence still there, flatness of the MACD, flatness of the RSI at the same time. So this is leaning towards a little bit dramatic of a pullback, maybe towards 855, but it could base out at any time. Remember to pay attention to how you can get screwed out of a trade. 15-minute, curls back up, strong bar, okay, we go higher. But as of right now, 30-minute is there. The one that was gotten rid of was the 2-hour. So because the 2-hour divergence was kind of gotten rid of, that really leans me towards this is going to be some kind of pullback. All right, because this is a less likely scenario where this actually goes negative. If it goes negative, we'll pay attention to that, right? The stocks are going to do what stocks want to do, and we just react, right? Trading like water. We all say it all the time, trade like water. But as of right now, because you don't have that divergence, the potential to actually flip around the trend and go negative is a little bit lower. We'll pay attention and mention that if we actually go negative here. But right now, I would say 30-minute looks like it wants to maybe even pull back a little more towards this gap fill area, and then we start to see that base out. So now that the 30-minute has crossed, we can be patient, see if that gets close to the center line and wants to curl up. Maybe it just moves sideways. Maybe it just moves sideways. We get close to the center line, then that curls back up. Right, so move sideways, curls back up, boom, another move higher. Dishoom68, thank you so much for the $10 donation there. It's going to pop up on the screen in a second, but thank you so much. Let's celebrate them for their first super on the live stream. Thank you so much. But Yura has a cup and handle, looking on the weekly and kind of daily too. Thoughts. Everyone give a big shout out to Dishoom. Give that thing a like, man. Thank you so much. First time donation. Really appreciate that. Let's look at, okay, Tittle Spark. What we're going to do is I'm just going to take a quick peek at Euro. We're not going to do too much on this because I haven't looked at it too much. Okay, wait. Okay, so this is the uranium. All right, so uranium. All right. We got this. Daily side, you're seeing cup and handle. All right, what am I seeing here? Well, let's draw some lines, actually. This might be more of an assessment than I was expecting here. Let's do something like that. Let's see where that resistance came in. Right about there. All right, so you have a breakout. How high could this go? Well, you want to see it from like the high to the low. I like to do it this way, by the way. I take it from where that point is, not all the way down to the low, because that encourages me to get out earlier and not take too high up of an expected move for this what am I trying to say? Triangle here. So this does look like a cup and a handle. It really does. You're coming up to a very important point. This 3150 area, very important. That's where resistance above that came in. So building up from there is very good. That is a strong move. Now, one thing to be cautious of with this move, if it is a fake out, you can really be hurt by this, okay? I would not say, hey, I'm going to go bullish here. I would have went bullish on this bar right here, right? That would be encouraging, see a decent size move. As of right now, that does look like a cup and handle. What could happen on the 2 hour? First of all, you have daily divergence up there. If that confirms, not a good sign. Could be a fake out. And thank you so much for that donation, Dashum. Looks like it just popped up. Measured move. That's what I'm looking for. So right now, you would say, is this the best time to get in? Well, let's look. MACD, very, very high up. This up here, very, very overbought. So what would I be looking for as a trader? Because this 2 hour looks like it needs to back off. Well, 30-minute beaten down. I think a solid 30-minute beat down towards the center line would be very, very good for this. Why? What would it do? Well, we bust out of this, we trickle down and retest it, and then boom, the second move comes. And I think that's the best point to look at this as a trader. Right? You want this to get down towards that center line, have some room left for that momentum, and then boom, that starts to head up after you take back that 5-day moving average. Boom, we can start to head higher from here. That's what I would say about this play. But good catch. It does look like a cup and handle on the big grand scheme of things. But I did want to mention as well, like if you wanted to call this one a cup and handle too, that would have made sense. And look how that one failed. Okay, so now you're pretty much saying, oh, this is your cup, and then we didn't necessarily make that handle. Now you could even say, what if this is the big cup, right? There's a lot of things that could happen here. I would say the most simple way to think about this is 30-minute curls down, curls back up. That's a better time for a quick little trade. Coco. All right, let's go. Well, which one do you like to look at? If you have a ticker for this, I mean, Coco Futures, we can look at that. Nope, we can't look at that. I thought that would be a little bit better for us, but maybe if you have a ticker that you're actually paying attention to, that'd be good. Let's take a peek at gold real quick. Remember gold, this is something similar, right? On the 30-minute, you get a breakout. So kind of like we just talked about a breakout out of a triangle. Okay, this is a breakout out of a descending wedge. We break out. What happens? Well, we're overbought, right? We're a little overbought here. If we want to see another big move, maybe we actually see this retest and then start to head higher. I think that'd be very, very good. Microsoft, yeah, I want to keep my eye on Microsoft because this thing has been a good trade for us. I've scaled out of most of my Microsoft. I think I'm out of all of it, actually. Yeah, I'm out of all of it. Because I got out on this push right here. I was like, okay, as we approach this level, I'm expecting resistance, so I'm out. So I'm 100% out of Microsoft. I still have my hedge in place, but I'm actually like hedging nothing at this point. So what can we see here? We still are waiting for some kind of pull down to break through an important area. You don't necessarily just want to see this trail up, break through, because then some kind of sudden drop could come. What you want to see from here, since we're still near that resistance, see that pull down, base out, grab those buyers, come back up, pay attention to that 5-day moving average that starts to catch up. Once we get back above that and we cross on this MACD, positive territory right there. So still paying attention to this, but this would be a great area, I would say, to take some off the table. If you want to let some ride, that's perfectly fine. And just say, hey, I'm looking for this to beat down for the next trade. That's what I would say for Microsoft. But this was a great trade. I'm glad that a lot of people were confident in this. That 2 hour divergence down here, so good. And I just used the 30-minute double bottom here as a point to get in. And that really printed for me over time. So this was one big winner. Cocoa Pepper Storm. Okay. The cash contract. Oh my goodness, that actually looks pretty good on the 30-minute. Let's look on a 2 hour. So the 30-minute here is showing you that 2 hour divergence there. Then you get a little 30-minute divergence there. Then you get a little 30-minute divergence here for a triple divergence. And then boom, there's a little buy point once you get above that 5. And now we're starting to head up. And then if you wanted to say, oh, I'm scared out of this move. Okay, take profit at this high. All right, what would happen? Left, head, right shoulder. We bust through the top of it. We could retest or something, but this is a great trade. Hopefully you've been able to go back and forth. It's like, scale in, pop, sell at the first point of resistance, pulls down, crosses back into positive territory, boom, next move higher into positive territory. It looks good. Let's look at it on a 2 hour. Now, 2 hour, you don't necessarily have the strongest base. You do have a little divergence down here on the RSI, just a little one. That is enough. So what you want to see from this 2 hour is you don't want to see it roll over and go negative, first of all, and you want some more confirmation. So if you're going to hold on to that, you'd want this daily curling up into positive territory, right? We want the daily crossing up on the MACD. This looks like a good move. This looks like a very, very good move. Just be more confident with that daily crossing up and pay attention to that 2 hour. You just don't want that to curl down at any moment, I think. You don't necessarily want to see a 2 hour pullback here. Maybe a 30-minute or something like that, but you don't necessarily want to see a 2 hour. You just want to see the 2 hour really gain some strength, the 30-minute pullback, and then see that strength continue, getting that daily to cross up into positive territory. Then you know that you're part of that big move. So great look there. Great. See, here's the thing too about today that I'm noticing talking with you guys. Something that I'm noticing talking with you guys today is you guys are pointing out better stocks to look at. You're pointing out better things to pay attention to. And a lot of the time you're like, when something is really up high and needs some kind of pullback, a lot of people are saying like, should there be a pullback here? That's a perfectly fine question. Hey, does a pullback look likely here? That's a great question. Saying, oh, should I buy shorts here? You're in a short squeeze. That's not a good question. But a good question is, hey, could we experience a pullback here? When's the best time to take a trade? Like, is it when we pull back down? Like, those are great questions. 410 on Microsoft. I think it's possible. 410 is definitely possible for Microsoft. What you'd want to pay attention to here is how could you get screwed over by the move? All right, the 15-minute just keeps curling up into positive territory. I think you got a good shot for this to curl down a little bit more. Dude, someone subscribed or something? Daniel Cole, thank you so much for subscribing. I hope I didn't miss any subscribers. You guys know that I'm having to watch my own YouTube video to see the chat right now. So it looks like 410 would be very possible. I would even say like something like 406 is very possible. 406 looks very, very good. I would still like this 30-minute to get close to that center line. Look how like that just does not look good for me to take any upside, right? If you're looking at this MACD, just be honest in the chat. You guys have been looking at charts for a long time now. We've looked at charts for months and months and months. Does that look like something I would get into? Probably not. Tittle Spark, thank you. Thanks a lot, Lucas. Your course helped hunting for divergence. That's what I'm talking about. And know this, in the course, you also learn a lot about the MACD. So you can even start to learn how to swing trade. I know it's not necessarily a swing trading course, but if you just put the dots together and you start to think about how we talk about the MACD in that course, well, if I curl down to the center line, this would be a good opportunity to see another move higher. This is a strong move. If it bases out, that's the second move higher. Okay, so you can still use the course for multiple strategies. But I think divergence and things like that are a lot safer things to find. You don't always want to be looking for reversals, though. In a short squeeze, you don't really want to be finding reversal. You want to be finding times to pull back and head higher. Lucas, can you check the SPY? We can check the SPY. And remember in the video last night, we kind of told you where I think the nonsense will stop. And that might be up towards this level up here. So just be careful. I mean, this is still squeezing. What's happening? 15-minute keeps rolling up. We're getting some divergence. We're starting to get close to that negative territory. This is, now you're in the area, right, where you have to be cautious. This is the area where you have to be cautious. Now, where did we really start to break down from? This point right here. So if we stop at this point right here, okay, this point of, what is that, 519? We stop at that daily expected move. Then we create some kind of big handle. Then we go up. This might be the next opportunity for the upside, as long as we don't get a full reversal in trend here. So we have to pay attention to that. The pullback is coming. We just have to be very patient. You can't take a trade every single day, guys. You just can't. It's not going to pop up for you. SPY pushing up. Yeah, it's still pushing, still pushing, still pushing. Just now, eventually it will give up. But just know this as well. If this is still very, very bullish, you might not see a dramatic pullback. That's why I'm not talking about playing this to the short side necessarily just yet. Now, if we get overextended up to here, this is where I'm talking about it. But since we just might react to here and then pull back down, that could be brief. We just get a small handle and start to head up. We get this like a handle like this, right? We do something like this, we start to head up. So we'll pay attention to that. Now, what would that line up with? Well, if we actually see this do this week, right? We come up to this, we back off, and then we curl back up, and next week we go higher. We're going dramatically higher into a big thing. CPI, PPI, a lot of things. So then we have some rocks to pay attention to next week. Yeah, I saw that, JS. Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit yesterday. All right, let's start to break down some of these, by the way. Might be hopping off after this breakdown, but let's really pay attention to what's happening here. We're squeezing. We're squeezing. We're squeezing. Remember when we talk about these pullbacks here, when we talk about the pullback here, when we talk about the pullback here, this is because that's what we want to see as a trader. And I say it multiple times, we should not be trying to short this. This will cause your account to go to zero if you try to short this. Now, once you see reversal signals like this actually going negative, right? Once it actually goes negative, then you can maybe take a play saying, hey, yeah, this needs to curl down. But as of right now, this is very bullish. And if that selling never comes in, we could just do something like that, and that's all the pullback you get. Okay? Now, we still are paying attention a lot, too. A lot of people were to the put side yesterday. Now we're starting to see calls trickle in. So this area up here could be where we contrarian, right? All the puts from yesterday, those are all done. Now we're looking today, all right, what if we get a pullback going on into the rest of the week as we do approach that weekly expected move? So paying attention to that with the SPY, it's a little bit closer than the Qs. The Qs reaching for it, but have a little bit more room left, right? So Qs here, still a good upward move. One thing about the Qs, about this MACD, look how steep that is. I know there's no divergence on the RSI at the same time, like just flatness pretty much. Even a little bit up in the recent one, so I don't want to read too much into that, but look at that steep divergence here. It's really saying to me that if we keep heading higher, there is going to be a pullback, and that might be we break out of a zone, we test back into it, and then we end up going higher, okay? So we're still in a positive environment. We got above this high. That means that since we're above this high, that means to us, any selling will be bought up until we get back below this level, in my opinion. Till we get out of this zone to the downside pretty much. So if we're down here, all right, then buying is met with selling. But since we're up here, okay, selling is met with buying. That's what I would say for there. And puts are way higher. Yeah, so puts might be expensive. Apple going forward, this is a great move. Hey, how could you get screwed out of this move? Well, if that 15-minute curls back down. So if we're trying to take any kind of 30-minute play up, well, did that confirm? No, it didn't. No, it didn't. And a lot of the time, Apple, likes to react out of a move, test the top of it. Apple's the one that does that, I would say, the most. So if this 15-minute curls down, what would happen? Well, we might break down past the previous low. All right, so you may be hitting this low, going back into this zone. Then you can pay attention down here. What if there's a small little 15-minute divergence down here? That would be very, very cool. That's something you can pay attention to. Now, if the 30-minute wants to curl up at any time, is this the best opportunity? Now it's starting to look like an okay opportunity because we're taking some time here. Even if this beats down a little more, I think this would be a great opportunity over here. I still like the look of an ABC pattern on this overall move. And then we see some kind of 30-minute divergence up here. I like that look, but is that going to happen? I have to wait and see. And then I know, because I have that scenario in my brain, though, I'm ready for it, right? I'm ready for it. Tesla, right? Remember, able to break down, but not able to fully close below, what is this, 177.50. So not able to close below. The retest of 180.92 is pretty much what's happening. We're retesting this zone that we're really seeming to fight between right now. What happens? I think the next time this 30-minute curls up, we're gonna probably see this 2-hour end up curling up. We beat down for a long time. Now, this is something scary. If a 2-hour divergence is up here at the same time as the on the MACD and RSI, that is a pretty good reversal signal. That is a pretty good reversal signal. So I would be a little cautious up in this zone. Now, that is maybe just going to be a dramatic pullback, right? To make the head and shoulders, right? Left shoulder, this zone is where you have the neckline, and then we have the head. And then if we get a big reaction here, maybe we drop all the way back down to 180.92 before that confirms back to the upside. We'll pay attention to dailies and things like that if they're able to actually cross over if we see a pullback from here. But this is where I think Tesla will end up soon, and then we'll see some kind of divergence up there. Unless we need a pullback right now. We're paying attention to the price action. But Amazon, this one here, probably, it really looks like it needs a pullback. It really looks like it needs a pullback. Remember that 15-minute divergence, what you're paying attention to here? Now, that's not on the RSI. You just have flatness across the way with like 1 point over here. It's not the best look. So what I would pay attention to with this is the 15-minute never confirmed downside. It never went negative. You really want to see that go negative for the downside here. Am I going to play downside even with these 30-minute divergences on the MACD but not on the RSI? Probably not. I'm probably looking for this to base out at any moment and then curl back up for the second move higher. This is still a bullish environment, okay? So until the SPY, right, until the SPY and the Qs really start to break below here, I'm not going to say something more dramatic is happening here. Nvidia, this one here, able to turn down. Remember, we were talking about Nvidia as an example of how you could get screwed out of a trade and what's happening as of right now. Well, we're about to maybe curl up on the 15-minute into positive territory. So screwed out of a trade, it could happen right now. So we're paying attention to this going forward. This is a moment where you can get this to pop up higher. All right. You just want to see if that's confirming by getting above the on the RSI. If that starts to push above on the RSI and take back these moving averages, it looks like Nvidia is actually going to head higher. Now, until that happens, what do we have to do? We have to look at the 30-minute. Does this look like the best opportunity yet? Not necessarily, but if you're looking at the 15-minute, this might be all the pullback you get. Now, I'm still leaning towards something a little bit more dramatic as far as if I would take a trade. So the price action not really saying that has to happen, but I think that that would be a very good look for a trader. So this is what I would pay attention to, not necessarily just YOLOing into an Nvidia play because of a 45-minute pullback. Just know bullish environment, bullish trends. Okay, guys, still up in positive territory, so no reason to really take shorts at this point. Now AMD on the 30-minute, little bit different. This is a divergence here. We want to maybe look at a 15-minute. This is a divergence here. If it busts down at any point throughout this move, be a little bit careful. Resistance could come in at 158. This is starting to add up to something here. Let's go take a look at AMD on my other charts here. Weirdly enough, there is something very, very cool right here that you can get down on Patreon in the description that would tell you this is all the upside that's left for AMD is about 158.50. Interesting. But what would that do? This is something we can pay attention to. You would have a divergence at the same time on the MACD and RSI if that confirms. I want you to be very careful with these. You have to see confirmations in a short squeeze that the downside's coming, because in a short squeeze, it could not confirm at the last second and just turn right back up. So make sure these things are confirming, and then to continue to hold it, make sure they're going negative. It really looks like AMD is going to maybe pressure a little bit higher and then start to drift back down, maybe to scoop up and find some buyers in that area. What would that be? That would be left head and right shoulder pretty much if you react up to this level and then you see some kind of pullback. You'd pretty much have the structure for some kind of higher low. And we'll pay attention to that going forward. But it looks like 30-minute might roll, or 15-minute and the 30-minute here showing a tiny, tiny divergence. So 2-hour pullback looks likely. Now the 2-hour is in negative territory. One thing you have to pay attention to with AMD, 2 hours is still negative. So that tells me I just have to be open to the fact that it could test these lows or go make a new one, but be ready if there's some kind of divergence down here, because that could be pretty brief. And then we see the real big move coming. We'll have to find out going forward, but that's the things I would pay attention to. Lower high, just curling back up, right, on the 30-minute and things like that. Meta going forward, right, this looks like it needs a pullback. Like everything really looks like it needs a pullback. Now, this isn't overbought or anything like that, but I still would like at least a test of 453.08. If we're going to see this given up, you're going to see this 2-hour fully roll over and go negative. That's going to bust down, and then you could test these lows. Right, I'd say you'd probably test this level. I think this level is the actually more important one, this 427.50. So that could be on the table, and you want to pay attention to divergence at that point for some kind of run. Now, this is a bullish move, so I want to make sure to talk very bullish about it. All right, if we go test 453.08, I'd be very confident for, and we base out, we see that little pop, I'd be very confident taking another move higher for Meta, right? Getting close to the center line, curling back up. Good chance that the second move is coming. We fight the high, right? We compete with the high and we go make a new one. That looks likely. It just looks like a time where I don't want to YOLO or FOMO into anything. Now, some people were asking questions about Microsoft. This looks like some kind of pullback needs to come from here. This is where I'm fully out of this move, right? At this bar right here. So what does that mean? The reason I got out was this looks like some heavy resistance, and I've made plenty of money in this move. So I'm willing to wait now. See that curl down to the center line, maybe even come all the way down and fill this gap before it wants to turn back up. That's what I'd be paying attention to. Some kind of turning up into positive territory for Microsoft. It looks like it needs to digest from here. And if it doesn't and it just keeps going, that's okay. I'm going to be a good trader. I'm going to keep my emotions in check. And I'm going to just wait for the next opportunity. Being patient is a very good thing. Google, let's take a quick peek at Google real quick. Okay, all right. We're starting to really start to scale up for Google. Remember the hourly curling up? That's overall what we were leading towards. Now it looks a lot like Tesla at first, but Tesla reacting the other way right now. We'll see if that's able to build back. Right now, I would say actually 2-hour curling up for divergence up here. Oh gosh, this might be short-lived, to be honest. And see, this is telling you here the momentum could die out from here, even getting some kind of double top. So I really want to pay attention to, if Google makes an upward move, where is the SPY? Ooh, the SPY is going up towards its weekly move. So this is telling me, hey, it looks like some kind of pullback is coming. If we keep squeezing, that's fine. I'm not going to like take a bunch of shorts into the pullback. I just have my hedge that I'm going to keep because it looks like, hey, I got it at a good price. I'm going to keep it in case it makes some money. But now my long exposure is just gone. I'm not long pretty much at all. Good morning. Have you gone over Nvidia? Yeah, Nvidia just looks like it's going to pull back, and that's overall happening now. So you want to pay attention to, if you wanted more of a pullback, how could you get screwed out of like a short position? Well, if this 15-minute curls back up, that's what would really ruin you here. So just pay attention to that. But 30-minute looks like it could buy a little bit more room down. Okay, somewhere towards this gap, maybe 858, 860. That's if it really wants to break down. I would say, but to be in a positive environment the whole time, right, where sellers don't really step in and selling is bought back up, I would say this level right here, right, just below you towards 880, I think looks pretty good. If we can slowly make our way down there, what happens to the MACD? It slowly gets closer to the center line and then just curls back up. That would be the move that I'm really looking for Nvidia. Still a bullish environment. Oh, the bearish Fed speakers might be talking today. That's not good. We'll see what happens with that info. But overall, I might just leave you guys here on the SPY to watch this for a little bit. I'm going to go take care of some things today. I really appreciate you guys coming by today. I really do. Everyone like and subscribe and talking well about the course and even donating to the channel. You guys know how thankful I am when someone, dedicates their hard-earned money to the channel. And now you guys are donating money so that I can buy a new mouse or something. I'm like, I could probably go get a new mouse. I just like this one. I'm one of those guys, right? So just wanted you guys to know how thankful I am that you guys show up every day and you guys are dedicated to learning. I think it's a very, very awesome, positive thing. And I think a lot of people were able to learn from what I was saying with Palantir earnings. When the market gives you a get out of jail free card, take it. All right, the market's going to try to rip money away from you every single day. So when you get a moment where it's like, oh, the market messed up and gave me a get out of jail free card, just make sure to take that option. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. Really appreciate it. If you guys want to sit around and chat with each other for a little bit, talk about your ideas, that's perfectly fine. I'll let the stream stay up for just a little bit, but thank you guys so much. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you on YouTube later. Peace out, guys.